The China-Taiwan war risk is the highest in the last 25 years. An unusual fall of a senior Beijing official may indicate another political purge. China investment risk is high due to lockdowns. A Washington Post reporter is blocked on Weibo. Hello and welcome to Sound of Hope News. Today is April 22nd. According to Taiwan's defense minister, tensions with China are at their worst. He warns there is a risk of an accidental strike. On April 19, Taiwan's Liberty Times cited the official as saying, after the 20th National Congress of the CCP, Chairman Xi Jinping will have to confront domestic challenges and mounting public discontent. He further commented that Mr. Xi might use Taiwan to distract from this domestic challenge. He also further said that Mr. Xi will want to establish his historical legacy by resolving the Taiwan issue during his tenure. After effectively ending Hong Kong's liberty, Mr. Xi's sights are now exclusively on Taiwan. However, the CCP takeover of Taiwan wouldn't be easy, the expert continued. Very likely, the People's Liberation Army will invade Taiwan's outer islands as a distraction, such as Kinmen, Matsu, the Dongsha Islands, Taiping Islands. This would be borrowing from Russia's playbook. Russia took over Luhansk and Donetsk in eastern Ukraine in 2014 because they were allegedly pro-Russian. The expert pointed out that Kinmen residents could be manipulated to turn pro-Chinese. They enjoy both social welfares provided by Taiwan and economic benefits from China. Oh Shi-fu is an expert on Chinese political and military affairs from the Institute for National Defense and Security Research. Mr. Oh says, if China tries to invade Taiwan's outer islands, it will cause a chain reaction. He states, the military tensions between China and Taiwan have escalated to their highest in more than 40 years. It may trigger another international reaction. Mr. Oh believes that world powers should be able to prevent a crisis through sanctions. On April 6th, U.S. Secretary of the Treasury Janet Yellen said that the Biden administration would be prepared to sanction China should Beijing move aggressively against Taiwan. As the epidemic continues to escalate in mainland China, there has been a spate of incidents in the CCP's healthcare system. Most notably, a senior manager for Beijing Kexin, that's a vaccine developer, suddenly passed away due to illnesses, is the official reason. The death was only one day after one of the highest health officials in China was arrested. These incidents coincide with COVID cases spiking once again in Beijing, and at least two analysts, Yue Shan and Harvard's Huang Wangsheng, believe that we may be seeing the beginning of a widespread purge within China's healthcare system. Here are some details. Healthcare official Yu Luming rose to prominent power under Beijing Party Secretary Cai Qi, who is considered to be part of Chairman Xi Jinping's inner circle. Communist Party headquarters may have ordered Yu Luming's arrest because of his negligence over the epidemic. With COVID cases rising in Beijing again, Party Secretary Cai Qi needs a scapegoat. Case numbers are still relatively small, but they are all in areas immediately surrounding party headquarters. Should they rise, Yu Luming's charges may reflect them. It's also alleged that Yu Luming colluded with major medical interest groups, including a COVID testing commission. Analysts have argued that profits from COVID testing, worth hundreds of billions, may be a major motive behind the zero COVID policy. And this is where the sudden death of Mr. Cao Xiaobin comes in. Mr. Cao was a senior manager for Beijing Kexin Biological Products Company. That's the vaccine development firm. His arrest and then the sudden death coinciding with each other at a time of public outcry over the lockdowns may signify that there is infighting within upper levels of the party and that we are seeing the beginning of a purge. According to Reuters, China's stock markets are the second worst performers globally this year. They are down 17% so far in 2022. The citywide lockdown in Shanghai is a big deal, said Qi Wang. He is the chief executive officer of Hong Kong's Megatrust Investment. He also said, "This is one risk that may not go away easily with time, unlike the Russia-Ukraine crisis. Production, demand, and supply chains have all been impacted severely by COVID-related restrictions." Dong Chen is the head of Asia Economic Research with Pictet Wealth Management, and he said that since 2020, investors have mainly been worried about China's regulatory crackdowns, but now they are much more worried about the effects of the zero-tolerance COVID policy. He said, quote, "Since this epidemic has been politicized, there is more concern among investors this time." David Chow, a global market strategist at Invesco, said, "Heading into the second quarter, there continues to be many uncertainties about China's COVID response, and that will be the most significant variable for now, seeing whether their pandemic policies evolve or not." Beijing's zero-COVID strategy is also upsetting fund managers because of social concerns and human rights. They hear of many citizens complaining about a lack of food and freedom of speech, and they see further economic downturn in the future as a result. In March, one of the world's largest sovereign wealth funds, that's Norwegian Bank Investment Management Company, announced that it would start excluding shares of Chinese sportswear company Li Ning Co., quote, "due to an unacceptable risk that the company is contributing to serious human rights abuses in Xinjiang." Miss Ava Dou is a Washington Post reporter stationed in China. On April 18th, she tweeted, "We try not to let personal experience tint our reporting of the broader picture. Still, the one does affect our understanding of the other. Tried setting up a Weibo account and it was blocked in half an hour. My Taobao account, also blocked. Ali customer service, can't say why." So what did Miss Dou write on Weibo? Her first Weibo post said in Chinese, quote, "I finally returned to China on March 22nd. I haven't been able to come back during the 2-year pandemic. This time I came back to work in China as a correspondent for the Washington Post. I'm very happy to have this opportunity to conduct reporting on various provinces throughout China." Dou also wrote, "I went through quarantine in Shanghai after getting off the plane, then transferred to a quarantine hotel in Nanjing. Quarantine ends tomorrow. Do you have any suggestions what to eat and where to visit in Nanjing?" Her profile page now has no posts and 0 followers. The username is only a string of numbers. Many netizens started discussions after Dou was blocked. Some quipped, "Welcome to China. This is just the norm of daily life over here," or "This is Chinese freedom. They are watching you now." Foreign journalists are not the only ones silenced. Liu Xiaobing has 2 notable titles. One is the head of the School of Public Economics and Management at Shanghai University of Finance and Economics, and the other title is a member of the Chinese Communist Party Congress. Liu Xiaobing recently suggested that the government use epidemic prevention and control measures that are based in science, as well as shortening the closure times and limiting their scale, etc. This was done on Weibo, but then the post was removed. Another recent example of censorship was Mr. Zhong Nanshan. He is an expert on epidemic prevention and is recently a household name in China. He argued that the dynamic clearing currently sweeping through China won't work in the long run. China needs to reopen in an orderly manner to allow social and economic development to return. He also recommended using epidemiological data to adjust some of the regional policies. However, his viewpoint contradicts the current policy, and as a result, his article was also censored. We hope you enjoy our news, and please like and subscribe to Sound of Hope News, where we will see you next time.